Welcome back, MLB The Show players. It's Mr. Merc here, and today we are going to have a very fun, very brief video, but I'm very much looking forward to it, and using the word very a little too much. This video will be a ranking, and I am ranking the top 5 first basemen in MLB The Show 20 Diamond Dynasty. Now, before we get into this video, I do have a couple guidelines that I am following. First and foremost, I will not be including secondary positions. I apologize, Stand Musial users. I am actually a Stand Musial user, but I feel like the list just becomes a bit more broad and complicated. So for that sake, because I'm a lazy guy, we are going to stick to the primary position first base players. So here we go. So coming in at number 5 on the list, I actually put Fred McGriff. Now, in the Stage 3 team affinities that were released, there were quite a few pretty solid first basemen that were created, such as Paul Konerko, Jim Thome, and Fred McGriff, as well as others like Don Mattingly. But why Fred McGriff makes the list for me is basically due to he's a really well balanced card. He can really hit both sides of the plate about the same. He doesn't have anything that immediately jumps out to you so much, but he definitely is a very balanced, very basic card. Nothing that's going to overly impress you, but it's still a solid card nonetheless, and it's definitely one of the better first basemen that were added on to the team affinities for Stage 3. So I definitely think this is a very good first base card, and that is why it comes in at number 5. So coming in at number 4 on my list, I'm actually putting Pete Alonso's Home Run Derby card that was released. Now, Pete Alonso is kind of a specialist card, because if you are someone who absolutely loves power, then you are going to love Pete Alonso, and rightfully so. 125 power on either side of the plate. You can expect to mash balls to Saturn with this card. There's really no doubt, really no way that you can dispute that he is one of the most powerful cards in the game. However, what I think kind of hurts him as well is the contact is not as good. I mean, it's solid contact, but it's no greater than decent contact. So, although he hits absolute nukes, and you can be assured of that, his power is really the one side that he has. Everything else, obviously, he's not a fast card. He's obviously not a good defensive card. He's got okay contact. It's really all power or nothing. And if you're really into power, good for you. You'll love this card. But that is why Pete Alonso comes in at number 4. So coming in at the 3rd place spot on my list, I am going to put the best team affinity card for first basemen, Jim Thome. Now, Jim Thome, I feel like, gets loved by some and hated by others. Basically because if you are a right-handed pitcher, my best advice for you is to just put your glove down and surrender. The stats against righties are insane. If you have a righty pitcher on the mound, you are going to get absolutely crushed, no doubt about it. He has great clutch as well. He's a really feared hitter. Left-handed pitchers, on the other hand, it's not as good as righties, I'll give you that. It's still solid, it's still decent, but I definitely think that his stats versus righties are what carries this card. It is absolutely dominant. It is better than any other first baseman card in the game. He crushes righties. You see more righties in the game anyway, in terms of pitchers. So that is a big factor as to why he is clearly the best team affinity card in the game, and why he is number 3 on the list of top 5. Now, the top 2 choices were very hard to pick because the 2 candidates I have remaining Both are extremely talented cards, and their stats are just out of this world. They are both definitely deserving to be at this top of the list, and I'm going to have to put at second place the newly released Frank Thomas card. There's 3 reasons I did this, and obviously we know who number 1 is, so I'll just say it. The David Ortiz card and the Frank Thomas card. Why Frank Thomas is worse than David Ortiz? I say this because, first of all, David Ortiz has better stats against right-handed pitchers than does Frank Thomas. And you're going to see more right-handed pitchers in the game than Frank Thomas. And I think that that is something to be considered, because although Frank Thomas does absolutely murder left-handers, there is no denying that. It's just that David Ortiz does better against the more common kind of pitcher, and David Ortiz is superior for that reason. Also, Frank Thomas does not have as much clutch, just a little bit less clutch than the maxed out David Ortiz. And my final reason I put him at second place was because I hit better with lefties than righties, and that's just a personal reason for mine. Let me know down in the comments what you guys prefer to hit with, righty or lefties. But anyway, I feel like I haven't given as much credit to Frank Thomas's cards. He is not released yet as of this recording, but he will be soon, and I can't wait to see how people do with him. I know he's going to rock. He's going to earn that number 2 spot in this list, and I can't wait to see him in the game. And that leaves 1, and you guys already know this card because I already said this card, but I'm going to say it again. David Ortiz. This card is a monster. It absolutely destroys right-handed pitchers, which is the more common pitcher you see in the game, as I said. And what I really like about it is that it not only rakes right-handers, it can rake left-handers. Despite its incredibly high stats, it still does a good job at being balanced against either side of the plate. It beats out Jim Thome because it has better stats against lefties than Jim Thome. It didn't have as good stats as Frank Thomas does against lefties, but regardless, he also makes up for that with his maxed out clutch. And that maxed out clutch is something that I think is a very underlooked stat. It's not viewed upon as much as it should, and I think that that is a big reason why this card carries into first place. Its clutch stat is amazing. Versus righties, it is a monster. And lefties, it's still balanced enough to be competitive. And I definitely am happy and content with David Ortiz being the number 1 first baseman on the list. So there you have it. That is the list of my top 5 best first basemen in MLB The Show 20 Diamond Dynasty. If you have a differing list of your own, feel free to say it down in the comments section below, and if you like the content you see here, feel free to like, subscribe, and stick around for more great content coming soon. I plan on having more ranking videos as well as tip videos being released shortly. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and please have a good rest of your day.